This story is flat out unbelievable. When I explain to people that in years I cannot remember, my home was stolen, my established business was stolen, assurance settlements for my injury were stolen, and people ask, how can't you remember those years? And I can't remember those years because of a skull puncturing head injury that killed me. I was revived miraculously and half paralyzed. So the years following that, stuck in a wheelchair, primarily, I don't have any memory of a couple years at all, and still to this day can't remember accurately. So when I explain to people that's why I can't remember those years that my house was stolen and everything was stolen, they say that's not possible. They couldn't have gotten away with that. If you've got an injury that severe, they can't just tell the court that your signature is normal, but that's what they did. People say that's not possible. You got to call blah. I have. I have called every single avenue possible in the state of New Hampshire, telling them the truth, that it's in the court documents filed. It's not something that's an opinion. My medical information was missing from probate court while the patient of St. Joe's Hospital. This was done tactically by my blood parents to get a ruling that I was my own guardian while still hospitalized. So in a coma at UMass, they get guardianship conservator. They transfer me to St. Joe's in Nashua, hide the medical info, wheel me in, and have me tell the judge I can take care of myself. The judge rules me that I'm my own guardian. They get me then back to the hospital as my own guardian. And everyone starts taking direction as if it's from me in years I don't remember as a normal adult, including signing contracts that I owed them money on my property, including signing checks that they wrote to themselves from my bank account after insurance settlements came. They took everything. To this day, they still take my disability income with bank accounts they made in my name. They still have court rulings they got through Monadnock Developmental Services Assistance so that they're protected, and I can't contest that they're getting my disability income because it's going to bank accounts in my name. With court rulings, I'm not permitted to access those accounts for my own safety. None of it's an exaggeration. It's an unbelievably organized assault by my blood parents and Peterborough residents employed through Health and Human Services outfits in the state of New Hampshire. And they were able to hide my medical info following the skull puncturing injury covered by WMUR on 12/4/2014. And that's why in the years I can't remember, they stole my home, insurance settlements, established business, misinformed my kids, terrorized my children to the death of my daughter Hannah recently. And they're still separating Tristan, Gabriel, myself, all with misuse of the system. The systematic dysfunction that they have created with organized judicial misusing by means of medical frauds and usurpation of St. Joe's is in the documentation they have filed, continue filing, and are currently being protected by HUD. Roger LeCompte, Len Howard, Tim Donovan, and their associates directly are being protected currently by HUD. HUD is misusing Manchester Court with the same methodology, hiding information, creating and weaponizing law enforcement to keep distraction from all of the crimes they've been committing and maintain the established banking fraud. So they're stealing from the federal government, and they're using my medical identity. They're using bank accounts they made in my name, and they're keeping themselves protected by unlawful rulings coordinated with medical fraud. They're going to continue attacking and taking from whoever they want, because people like Roger, Lynn, and Tim get protected like agencies by MDS, HUD. They protect criminals like that by misusing the courts to get law enforcement misdirected to protect them as they destroy lives of our vulnerable for theft of federal funding. It's an uncomfortable truth, but it's going to be the exact same thing tomorrow, guaranteed. Because I know these people are not going to stop and do the right thing because they're supposed to. And law enforcement in New Hampshire is weaponized to protect employees of the state misusing the courts, targeting patients of hospitals for property theft, insurance theft, identity theft. It's a system, an organized system of modern day enslavement. Once you're hospitalized in New Hampshire, you are truly fucked, proper fucked. Meaning all of your human rights will be taken away, and the people that are taking them away will be protected by the unlawful established outfit. It's a whole layer of fraud. People that are tax-funded work together to misuse the courts to weaponize law enforcement to keep them operating and hunting patients of hospitals, particularly people that have property and businesses to sell, as I've experienced, to steal. In my particular experience, Monadnock Developmental Services has been involved from the beginning with Roger LeCompte, Howard, and Tim Donovan, who was the contractor for MDS attending the hospital with them, and has guided them through this entire process of organized misuse of the courts. To prevent someone's recovery by intercepting Health and Human Services funding, all through fraud, they've stolen millions of dollars in an attempt to prevent the recovery from the survival that wasn't supposed to happen. They're protected by the state that they're misusing, and it doesn't matter who is told the truth about it. They keep protecting the people misusing the courts with additional misuse of the courts. And that's why our vulnerable have no hope in the state of New Hampshire currently. There's no hope. No one will help us. No one will protect us. Instead, every single person employed by the state, mandated by the Americans with Disability Act, protects the criminals that began attacking me while the patient of a hospital, factually.